Hello, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Tailosive Tech live on YouTube. This is a very special late night live stream because I understand and know that there's a lot of people watching in different parts of the world, and a lot of the times I stream, it's at a part of the day where it's not available to them. So that and it aligns with my schedule today pretty well. I figured, hey, we haven't done kind of a late night stream for a while, so hopefully we can interact with some of the fans that don't get to catch these live. But I wanted to kick off the stream. Of course, we can talk about whatever you guys bring up in the chat, as long as it's mostly tech related, of course. But Ming-Chi Kuo recently was talking about AirTags once again, which we haven't talked about in a while because there really hasn't been many updates. You know, Dub did not talk about AirTags or the Find My network much at all. They've been out for over a year now. And apparently, despite getting not that much attention in the press these days, they are a success. They are selling like hotcakes, and for better or for worse, you know, there's absolutely a lot of negative press around AirTags, and people still tag me in stories and stuff saying like, look, this guy used AirTags to track someone or stalk someone or whatever. And, you know, I think Apple does their best to, you know, build in the firmware to prevent it from being used maliciously, you know, popping up on iOS devices nearby and saying, hey, you're carrying an AirTag that's not registered to you and that kind of thing. But still, you know, creepy people are going to be creepy. They're still popular, and there's ways to deactivate the speakers and stuff, which is not good. But ultimately, you know, a criminal may very well communicate with his accomplices, sorry, with an iPhone and iMessage. So does that mean that Apple needs to scan every text message and make sure that none of them are being used in a criminal manner? No, you know, there's only so much regulation they can actually apply. The good news is that it's building out this network that's very, very connected and encrypted when it comes down to tracking down items. And I think that reliability and that vastness of the Find My network is what makes it such a big hit. And it's another one of those new product lines that Tim Cook ushered in and I don't think people give him that much credit for. You know, there's a lot of new product lines that Tim Cook has introduced that Steve Jobs was not around at all, and we kind of just gloss over them. For one, the Apple Watch was kind of the first big one he introduced, and then after that, AirPods. And then I think the next big one really is AirTags. And even though it may not be the most exciting upgrade or the biggest change to the Apple ecosystem, I definitely don't have use for it myself, but it sounds like the sales are good. I can show you the tweet, basically, that Ming-Chi Kuo made. Oh, hold on, let me address this real quick. Kiopsis23, thank you for the super chat. Good day to you and your Mrs. Sir. It has been a hot minute since I've said hello. Wow, that was very nice of you for the super chat. That was quite generous, Kiopsis. Yeah, I haven't talked to you for a while either. Yes, I remember you. we've chatted before. Winterski says, Drew, it's sleepy time. What are you doing? There's the animation. Thank you, Kiopsis. Yeah, I know it's sleepy time, but it's been kind of a weird schedule. We're basically going to be taking a trip. I won't say where yet. I'll surprise you. But we've been prepping for the trip all day, and I've been trying to make videos and prepare for while I'm away. But I'll be taking my MacBook, and I'll probably get some work done while I'm on the trip. So expect the background to be a little bit different over the next week or so. Edbug says, I have AirTags on everything. Well, there you go. And I've seen them go on sale quite a bit, too, where people will, you know, Apple sells the 4-pack for $100, but Amazon will occasionally discount the 4-pack for $90 or under $90. So you can get these pretty freaking affordable tags that are very easy to set up and work very seamlessly with the Find My app on iPhone, which iPhones are incredibly popular. So it just, once again, really, really solidifies the ecosystem for people. And here, let me pull it up. I want to show the tweet because I thought it was interesting. There's a few different ways to interpret it, but Ming-Chi Kuo says, it hasn't received much attention, but it has gradually grown in shipments since its release. Shipment estimations of AirTag reach about 20 million and 35 million units in 2021 and 2022, respectively. If AirTag shipments continue to grow, I believe Apple will develop the second generation. So what's interesting about that is it's the first kind of word from any analyst or leaker that's talked about the idea of there being a second generation pair of AirTags. I still want more color options. I don't really subscribe to this concept that all AirPods and all chargers and all AirTags and stuff have to be the same color. Customization to go along with the keychains and stuff, I think would be cool. I don't know if that complicates the manufacturing line too much, but hey, if you're gonna have like 7 or 8 color options for the 24-inch iMac, I don't think it's that big a stretch to have color options for AirTags anyway. I would still personally like a rechargeable version, but I know I'm alone on that one. Nobody wants that. I'm just saying as an option, whatever. You are going to use your green screen again. No. Oh my god, you guys are trolling me, I swear. My AirTag battery has lasted me way longer than I expected. Oh, well, that's good. I'm happy to hear that. Oh, and thank you, Daniel, for the super chat. He says, "Hi, Drew. Can you please do a review on the Bolt EUV on your EV channel? I think it's a great value and has a lot of great tech. Would love a review." I would love to check it out myself, especially because I've recommended it several times. I don't want to get too much into that because it's EV related, and there's already more interesting EVs that I'm trying to check out. Scheduling and there's a few fans that watch the channel that own EVs that I want to look at, like the Plaid Model S or X, or the I want to check out the Kia EV6. There's all these EVs I want to check out. The Bolt is not on the top of the list, but because it's so affordable, I definitely want to check it out eventually. It's just we got a lot of stuff in the personal life going on right now. Good stuff. It's not bad. It's just busy stuff. So I will try to make time for that. I've noted your message and request, and I've recommended the Bolt to so many people several times. So yeah, I would want to check that out. But I apologize. That's not tech related. We're on the tech channel right now. We'll talk more about that with EV. Let's see. I can say that AirTag saved me a lot of time in locating the wallet I dropped once I got home the night before. Ooh, drop the wallet. Yeah, that's a sketchy one. An ocean view for Apple News would be interesting. Ocean view? What are you talking? I don't understand. I don't understand that message, but what are some unusual items you could think of to put AirTags on? Unusual. I don't know if I'd say unusual, but maybe unconventional would be cameras. I don't see that many people talking about it, but cameras I think are criminally under protected. You know, we put biometrics on our watches, we put biometrics on our phones, and I think this Find My network is a really, really powerful tool of keeping track of things and, locking cameras up so that not anybody can just steal a camera out of your car. There's been so many, like, car thefts of people that have camera gear and that kind of stuff in their cars. And a lot of camera gear is expensive. It costs thousands and thousands of dollars. So protecting that via the Find My network or via Touch ID so that if your camera or lens or something does get stolen, thank you for the super chat, Jacob. Let me finish my thought. Being able to lock that down and also find out exactly where it is, even if it's hard to track down and you have to get the police involved. Apple does not recommend you to use the AirTags or Find My network to track down stolen items, but at the same time, people kind of do it. If you could attach more camera gear to the Find My network, I think people would be willing to pay for it because it would at least discourage theft, knowing that the camera is going to be locked up if you steal it. Like, you can't use the camera and it's going to be registered as stolen, so good luck selling it and that kind of stuff. Okay, but Jacob super chatted. He says, "What's more annoying, mosquitoes or spam comments?" Definitely mosquitoes. I don't know if you knew this. This is a sidetrack, but it's a late night stream. We're casual here. This is not professional, whatever. We're just going to start talking about whatever. But mosquitoes kill more human beings than any other creature. Yeah, sharks, dinosaurs, whales, cows. Cows actually kill more people than sharks, by the way. Bees, bear attack. Like, none of that compares to mosquitoes because they transfer diseases. So I very much hate spam comments. In fact, it's still a problem on several of my channels. I have to go through and manually delete each one because even if I block an account, they still are able to comment on every video. So I don't even understand what the block feature does. And even if I go into Studio and hit hide user from this channel, they can still keep commenting. It makes absolutely no sense. I don't understand it at all. But it's not killing people. It's scamming people, which is annoying. But I have to say that, like, millions of people dying due to diseases that can be spread via mosquito, that's a little bit more annoying. So I'm going to have to say mosquitoes. But great question, Jacob. Thank you for the super chat. Your vacation, if it was a tropical place, there could be ocean background. Oh, I see. Oh, wow. I thought you were talking about ocean views for Apple News. I thought you meant like the Apple News app and like an ocean view screensaver. like Apple News Plus was going to have like a screen. I don't know why my brain went there, but I totally understand what you're saying. I'm hesitant to use the word vacation though, because I do still plan on working. You know, I'll be away from home, but I still want to make some videos while I'm gone. The downside is, and part of the reason I wanted to live stream tonight is I don't know what the internet situation is going to be when I get there. So, you know, I can compress footage quite a bit, and I'm okay with temporarily uploading in 1080p because I'll be honest, you know, I cover leaks and rumors, and a lot of the videos I make become dated very quickly. So I don't care if not every video I post is 4K at 60. So if the internet situation is bad, I'll probably just upload it 1080p at 30, just use cinematic mode and just hope for the best. But if the internet is really bad, I might not be able to live stream on my trip. So that's why I wanted to get one last stream in before I leave. Can we talk about your and Randy's Ben Shapiro impressions on the podcast? Talk about it. I don't know what there is to talk about, but yeah, if you want to talk about, yeah. I love doing our impressions. Randy's very good at impressions, and he inspires me. I aspire to be as good at impersonation as Randy is, so we both try to copy each other. Hey Ben, thanks for joining. And Simply Pops, good to see you too. Agree, we need camera gear protection. Late stream, but we're here. Yeah, I don't expect everyone who normally shows up to be here because I know it's late, but I just know there's fans of the channel that are watching in different time zones in different parts of the world, so I figured, you know, certain people this is going to be like noon or in morning, and they're not used to me streaming at this time. So, will your poor iPad stay home when you go on your trip? You know, the funny thing, I was making a tech video today that you'll probably see. Yeah, you'll see it tomorrow. And I was like trying to show off, it was kind of complicated. I was trying to show off something on my watch, but as long as my iPhone display was on, the notification wouldn't show up on the watch because the iOS is like, oh, your phone's already on, so I don't have to notify the watch. So I was like, okay, I need to record something, but I can't have the phone display on, but the phone is usually my camera. So I was like, oh, I guess I just need an extra camera. I guess I'll grab my iPad. And then I grabbed my iPad. It's dead. I don't know when it died. Probably days ago, but I've literally been making all my video thumbnails on my phone. And, you know, when we need to watch something or if I want to chill, and even just for media consumption, if I just want to hang out on the couch or somewhere else in the house, I just take my laptop now because I'm like, you know what? The display on this thing is bigger. The battery life is better. And I like the keyboard and the huge trackpad, and the speakers are better than the iPad. So I've been just trying to test over the past couple weeks, you know, ever since Dub, I've been trying to test, like, can I live without my iPad Pro? I don't really plan on selling it or anything, but it's dead, and I just realized that I don't really have a USB-C cable around to charge it. I have one in a box somewhere, but I was rearranging my desk, and I don't have like an easy access USB-C cable because my MacBook charges via MagSafe, and I have MagSafe Duo to charge my phone and watch. So I'm like, well, you're dead, and I don't know what I'm gonna do to address it. But if you could change things about the iPhone SE 3, what would you change? First thing high on my list is the price. I think that $30 price hike was just put a sour taste in everyone's mouth. What would I change? I mean, it kind of has to be boring. Oh, I just remembered MagSafe. I think it's very, very weird that the iPhone SE 3 does not have MagSafe. It came out in, didn't it come out this year? Yeah, it did. No, it came out earlier this year. MagSafe was introduced on the iPhone 12 in 2020. And then we got the iPhone 13s last year, and they all had MagSafe. Every new iPhone from 2020 onward had MagSafe, starting with the iPhone 12. I know that SE2 didn't have it, but it wasn't a thing back then. So to introduce a new iPhone model and brand it as new and put the new badging on the website and stuff, but you still don't give it MagSafe? That's just weird. And we know it's not a size issue because you can fit MagSafe on the mini iPhones, and the mini iPhones are smaller than the SE. So I guess Apple had a skill issue. Thank you, Keopsis, for the super chat. Again, where's the refund button? I haven't talked to you for a while. It just feels like a super chat. Oh my God, thank you. And Best Bros, thank you for tuning in. What's your current studio rig? Still iMac Pro, or have we moved on to M series? Yeah, I'm live streaming right now using the onboard mic, onboard webcam with my MacBook Pro of M1 Max 16 inches. which I very much enjoyed. Just posted my 8-month review. Very, very happy with it. Are links allowed in this chat? You know, I want them to be, but YouTube has like an automatic like filter or like pause on anybody that tries to post a link. I don't know how to turn that off, to be honest with you. I'm looking in chat settings right now. And there's no section that says like let people send links. I can't find it if it has one, but so I apologize. So I know that some people would probably abuse it if you could send links in the chat, especially spam accounts that love to, scam people. But if it was like a trusted user that I don't know had been watching the channel for months and months and hadn't been banned, then I would say like let people send links, but it doesn't. You should do Mac boxes in chronological order like the iPhones. Honestly, that's the only one I have right now. I used to have a lot more Apple boxes, but it just became too much of a space thing. It was taking up a crap ton of space, and we're already trying to store all these excess cables and old tech. And, I got my wife's MacBook Pro from, when was this, 2009? Just right off camera, and we have a bunch of stuff in boxes, and now we got iPads that neither of us are using. My wife has a 2017 iPad Pro, and she's had it for years, but she still just chooses not to use it. She'd rather use her iPhone SE2 because that's more convenient and she's more comfortable with it. So both of us got iPads we're not using, so we just couldn't keep storing boxes indefinitely because, we used to have a PO box and people kept shipping us stuff, so we just had way too many. I couldn't keep it all. Let's see. Can you see how long people have watched your channel? I don't think they show that. No, but they should. That would be cool if you could see underneath people's names and stuff, like this person's been subscribed for 5 years or something, and we can see channel members. The channel members are supporting directly for $2 a month, and they get access to the behind the scenes live streams of me filming and editing when I can do those. I can't always, but I try to make time for it. They get a badge next to their name, and the badge changes the longer they've been supporting the channel. So we get it for members, but I think we should have something for the normal subs too. Come on, YouTube. It's not a Tailosive stream if Drew doesn't talk about where's the refund button. I know. That's pretty impressive sounding. Yeah, I like it too, Ryan. Did you get 64 gigs on your Mac? I remember you got 8 terabytes because of how many people don't. Thank you, Ben, for the super chat. No, I have never had a RAM issue. I think RAM is overrated and people make it out to be a bigger issue than it is. I had 32 gigs of RAM on the iMac Pro, never maxed it out, and now I have unified memory on the MacBook Pro, so I kept it at 32 gigs. It was already a very, very expensive Mac. I know for a fact I'm going to utilize the 8 terabytes of storage. I will take advantage of that, but I also know for a fact I would not take advantage of 64 gigs of RAM, so that's why I did not get that. But, okay, Ben, thank you for the super chat. He says, would you ever do more React videos to your old stuff? I was watching them earlier today, and they were gold. Have a good trip. Thanks, Ben. Appreciate the donation. Yeah, there's so much crap I've made. There's so much videos I've made over the years, a lot that have aged well and a lot that haven't. Reactions are kind of fun, but they're usually kind of complicated to edit, and at least when I'm reacting to myself, the videos don't particularly perform very well. So it might make more sense to do those in live stream form than it would edit it. Edit is kind of complicated because if you've seen the behind the scenes live streams, which I occasionally do for everyone, like when there's an Apple event, there's not like an easy editing formula for the reactions, but there is for my typical content. I set up the camera and mic, and I kind of talk to myself, and I talk out loud, and I cut out the dead air, and I can splice it together. But the reaction stuff is a bit more time consuming, and it's not news. It's just like reflecting on what Drew used to say or what he used to think and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's not something I plan on doing a ton of, but M2 benchmarks are leaked. Yeah, that's what the last live stream was all about. They seem pretty impressive. But yeah, I would love if you reacted to your iPhone 7 defense rant. That was my first vid from you, and it has a soft spot in my heart. I'm glad you guys have a soft spot for it. I'm happy, but I don't think my reaction would be that interesting. There's a lot of things that the idea sounds better than the actual product. Like the weird example that popped up in my head was I was really excited for Jurassic World, and then I watched it today, and I was like, okay. I guess that wasn't as good as I thought. That kind of thing. That's a side. That's a side note. But um, I'm thinking of buying an iPad Air, which starts at 64 to 56 gig. How much storage does iOS take up on your 64 gig iPad? I should check, but it's dead. Maybe I can check. Is my wife's iPad dead? I don't think it uses that much. Probably like 10 or 15 gigs or so. Okay, hers is. This is actually a 512 gig iPad. Back when I bought this, that was I wanted to max it out because I was planning on doing a lot of work on it. But let's see, iPad storage. iOS is using. It's kind of hard to tell. I just have other. I don't have like how much the OS itself uses. Oh, this is so useless. I can't even tap it like you can on the Mac and see how much storage it's using specifically. You have to scroll down. Oh, system 12.35 gigs. So that's on the 2017 iPad Pro running iPadOS 15. This doesn't have the beta. But yeah, we did get a lot of Tim Cook in the new Jurassic World. Oh my god, there's so many gifs I want to make after watching that. It was hilarious. Tim Cook is in Jurassic World. Like he looks just like it. Um, I think it'd be interesting because of the points you made back then still stand today. I'm sure some of them do. I wouldn't be surprised if my opinion has changed a bit on many things because I can recall in the older videos several times talking about how I think that Apple's going to go portless and there's no need to switch to USB-C and that kind of thing, and uh, just didn't formulate. Wireless didn't take off like I thought it would, and AirPower never happened. And now I'm more on the board of we just need USB-C on everything. We're like we don't need to go portless. Portless would cause more problems, but um, I did think it was better than Fallen Kingdom for sure. But the stream is very clear. Did you switch back to cable? Nope, I'm still on T-Mobile. Thankfully, T-Mobile home internet's been pretty stable as of lately. Hasn't always been stable, but no, I will let you know if we cancel T-Mobile. I'm not gonna quietly and secretly switch to Comcast or anything. So, luckily the speeds have actually been much faster as of late. I've run a few speed tests on my phone in the last couple days, and it's consistently over 400 down and usually over 50 up. And Comcast never got over 40 up. So this is the cheapest internet I've ever had, and it's the fastest upload I've ever had, which is really all I care about. Download is not that useful to me. I could live comfortably with 100 down. I just need as much up as possible, and as far as all the internet providers in my area, I've tried Starlink, I've tried the maxed out Comcast plan, I've tried T-Mobile. T-Mobile seems to have the best upload. Um, Watching you unbox their 2018 iPad Pro unboxing was a hilarious retrospective. Yeah, it's just like got progressively more disappointing as time went on. Um, let's see. 64 is fine if you just want to watch content on it. If you're making content, making a lot of videos, then you need more. I think I agree. If you're going to be importing and on dumping a lot of footage on your machine, 64 gigs is probably going to be filled up pretty quickly. But that's why I edit videos on my MacBook Pro, so I got 8 terabytes. But 64 gigs on the iPad is fine because I mostly used it for photo editing, thumbnail creation, and media consumption, which pictures and photo editing does not take up that much space. Would you recommend T-Mobile Home Internet? There's places where it's probably not the best option. Like I've heard that Verizon Home Internet would be cheaper in some regions, and it just depends on the coverage in your area. So there can't be like this blanket statement where yes, I recommend it to everyone, because if you have fiber, that's going to be faster and more stable. And if you have Verizon Fios, that'll probably be faster depending on if you're close to a Verizon tower. Some people have told me that their T-Mobile home internet was faster than Verizon Fios. So you kind of just have to do your best to compare the two networks in your area and see what comes out on top. It's just gonna vary. There's no one size fits all. Where I live, it seems to be the best option, but again, it's not perfect. Like the router they build into the gateway is not very good. Like my TV continuously struggles to connect to the internet, even though my TV will be buffering and it takes a while to load certain apps, but I can't tell if it's the streaming apps themselves or the internet. But then I'll go on my phone and I'm getting over 400 downloads. So it's like, okay, the speeds are fast. But then I go on the TV and the TV's like, oh, the internet's disconnected. So yeah, it's not flawless, but it's pretty dang good for my needs. As far as I need a lot of upload speed, where I live, T-Mobile home internet's the best I can get. Thank you again, oh my god, for the super chat. I'd love to see a long form of any form video on your opinion on right to repair. Too many videos on the for camp, but would love to see an opposing view. Oh my god, Keopsis wants me to go to war right now. Thank you for the super chat, but dude, like that fan base, that right to repair movement is passionate, and they feel very confidently about it. I've bumped up against them several times, and I feel the wrath. So it's not something I really feel terribly passionate on, because I think the movement probably should be named right to parts. I think the right to repair terminology is a little bit twisted to make it seem like tech companies are keeping you from your right, when in reality the movement is more about forcing tech companies to provide uh, components and supplies to you, and that if they don't, then they should be forced to legally. And the right, just by saying right to repair, you're implying that a tech company is infringing on my right. And I just have more of the belief that a lot of tech products, popular tech products that exist and that people enjoy and that people buy a lot of, are inherently by design not very repairable or not easy to provide parts for. I mean, especially during the chip shortage, there's a lot of tech companies that sign contracts with suppliers or design a computer, design silicon in a particular way, not because they hate people working on their machines or because they hate people trying to upgrade them themselves. It just comes down to cost. Like, we can build these things faster if we manufacture it this way, or they'll make suppliers sign certain contracts because you can only build as many machines as there are parts for. So if you start saying that these suppliers and these companies have to provide parts for everybody that wants to work on these machines, that's going to eat into how many you can build, which eats into your revenue. So I think people are fairly one-sided on it, on just like, yeah, there's an infinite number of parts and tech companies should sell all of those parts to us. And it's like, dude, I mean, a lot of products are still backordered right now because there's a lack of parts. And I think it's kind of greedy to act like, hey, they should sell me one, and they don't even know if you're going to do it right. And I've heard tons of horror stories of third-party repair shops. I'm not saying they're all bad, but there's definitely some third-party repair shops that don't do a good work. And then oftentimes Apple gets complaints about that because they try to get it fixed for cheap, and then the shop does a bad job, and then they have a worse product experience. So Apple trying to handle repair and do all of that first party, while not flawless, I understand that the Apple Store and the Genius Bar makes mistakes, and there's bad stories with that too. You don't really hear about the good stories very much. There's not much news when someone gets good quality service from Apple. That doesn't show up in the headlines or make for a good YouTube video. Man has an issue with his tech product, takes it to Apple, and they resolve the issue successfully. That's not very clickbaity. That's not very interesting. So I know that Apple is run by people, and many people are flawed, and they're not flawless all the time. But I think a lot more people feel comfortable bringing it to Apple in a first-party solution because they know if Apple screws up, they're probably just going to get a free replacement. So they they would rather go to the place that's like, we screwed up. Here's have a new device. That's what happened with my AirPods Pro, and I'm fairly confident that would not happen with any third-party shop. If I brought them my AirPods Pro, they would try to fix it and probably fail, and then I would be left with nothing. So I go to Apple, and they give me a brand new one. So, and the first-party company is going to have access to those components in supplies more easily because they're already ordering them, and they have a steady supply of returns and things being recycled anyway. So it's just more likely for them to have access to parts and components. And if the company wants to make something more repairable, I've got nothing against that. That's their choice. But I'm mostly a believer in just the free market and letting the consumers decide what they want. And if consumers keep buying products that don't prioritize repairability, it's probably because most people don't care about repairability. Most people don't want to do that themselves. Let's see. Thank you, Kiopsis, for the super chat. Preach, my brother. I'm probably going to get people breathing down my neck. I know not everyone agrees with me on that. All I'll say is, if you don't agree with me and you think I'm a terrible influence and my opinions are wrong, Um, I am not a politician. I do not hold political power. My opinion is not very valuable. All I'm really doing is ticking off people that don't agree with me, and the people who do agree with me just keep watching me because they're like, yeah, I think Drew has a good point on that. So don't worry about me causing a disruptive influence on the movement. Uh, I've had that argument with many people many times, and we haven't gotten anywhere with it. So I guess that's why I'm not terribly interested in making videos on it, is because I know that certain people feel a certain way about it and others don't, and there's not going to be much of a change in that. So it's, I don't know, less exciting to me. That part of the tech community doesn't grab my attention. Ben Rayner, thank you for the super chat. Apple makes expensive stuff. I would be afraid to even try to open it up to repair. Apple Care is there for a reason. Yeah, I think it's just natural. I mean, Apple is a company that was built, like, let's talk about AirTags again, right? Because those are in the title. AirTags, I think, are a huge success and are beating out all of their competitors between the Galaxy Smart Tags and the tile trackers because of how simple and easy they are to use. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to uh, be a techie person to understand it. You just take it out of the box, you slide out this little plastic tab, and boom, it starts working. It's just seamless, and that's kind of what Apple's company was built on, was making capable technology accessible to the masses by making it simple and intuitive. And by design, opening up devices and replacing components and trying to repair it yourself is just not a very intuitive process. It's not a consumer friendly. Like, people don't want to think about those things. Most people just want it to work. And if it stops working, they would much rather just drop it off with an expert that knows what they're doing to fix it in a reasonable amount of time for a fair price, and then pick it up again and head out. That's what most people want to do. And of course, because Apple prides themselves on things being intuitive and user friendly, that's what most of their audience is going to prefer. Their audience isn't going to be in the tech specky things and how to replace and remove components and stuff. They're more about just, I just want it to work. I don't want to think about it. Apple's tech is more about getting you to a means, whereas I feel like Android and Windows is more about like enjoying the tech for what it is. That's why they pride themselves on customization and the games they have and the apps they have. It's like you just get into the tech itself, the computer, where they obsess and dwell over PC builds and their RGB and their graphics cards and their cooling system. It's obsessing over the tech for the tech. Whereas Apple's more about like using the tech as a bridge to something else, focusing on, here's how you tell your story with videography. Here's how you color correct your pictures. Here's how you connect with people via FaceTime or iMessage and stuff. It's a means to a solution. You're not dwelling on the tech itself. Steve Jobs was all about hardware and software just kind of blending together and all turning into one thing. So that's why I think it makes sense that Apple, a company that prides themselves on, 5 nanometer, 30 nanometer tech and Apple Silicon and everything kind of stitched together and making it more efficient and clean and thin and lightweight and all that, is because they are trying to prioritize that seamless experience, which naturally is just not great for repairability. Which is why I say, if you don't like it, then don't buy Apple stuff. Don't encourage it. Vote with your wallet. If you don't like something a company does, don't reward them by buying it. And if I think a decent number of people cared about repairability, they would buy products that prioritize that. But time and time again, we've seen evidence that people continue to buy products that don't prioritize repairability over products that do. Look at the sales of the Fairphone and look at the sales of the LG. What was it? G6 or the G5? I think it was the G5. What was the one that had the swappable battery? Like, the battery module could come out and you could pop new ones in. And there were devices that used to be way easier to work on because you could take the backs off without screws and stuff. And Samsung and all kinds of companies just did away with all that because people preferred having the aluminum and glass rectangles because those felt more premium and those sold better. So it's like, I think the market is kind of dictating a lot of these design choices. And when companies do prioritize repairability, they have to compromise somewhere, and it's in areas that average consumers care more about. So anyway, Apple Care is there for a reason. Yep. And it's not flawless. Let me just say that for the record. I understand there are bad stories with Genius bars, and Apple Care sometimes rings people up or charges them crazy prices. I know that happens. It's not a flawless system. I don't think there ever will be a flawless system, but yeah. The main reason why I'm in the camp of right to repair is because of the environmentalism. It's much better for the environment to make devices easy to repair than to recycle a broken device. I think there's a limit to that. I mean, I think Apple wants to, use recycled materials and they want you to trade in your phone and they're going to do a lot of the recycling themselves. But if you try to make the device, all the components repairable, you end up with something like the Fairphone. And people just don't want that. It's like you want to create a quality product that people are interested in buy because that's how your company thrives. But if you make everything repairable and modular at the compromise of the product becomes worse, that's not great either. So, Connor Dunaway, thank you for the super chat. He says, you may not know, but why do you think Microsoft Access is not supported by Macs? You're right, I don't know. I know very little about that. So I apologize. I appreciate the super chat. I just feel bad that I don't have a good answer for you. I guess Apple likely does not see much of a use case for it and doesn't see much of a point in supporting it, or potentially it's maybe not up to Apple. Maybe it's up to Microsoft because, they bring Office apps to the Mac, but I don't know how Microsoft Access works on a fundamental level. I don't know if Apple has some core issue against it. I really don't know, but I'm sorry, Connor. I don't have a great answer for you on that one. Let's see. Imagine a world when your expensive refrigerator breaks down and needs a simple repair and your only option is to purchase a whole new product rather than replacing the broken part instead. That's not great, but I think if that was a common trend, people would just not buy that particular brand, which is already a kind of thing that happens. People look up reliability of certain products and accessories. And no, I mean, like, objectively, a Fairphone is way easier to work on and replace than work on the ports or camera replacement. Okay. Whoa. I don't know. Sorry for the lag. Is it back? Oh my god. What just happened? T-Mobile had a stroke. T-Mobile freaked out. Is it back? Oh my god. Sheesh. Okay. The bitrate flipped out for a second. So this is what I mean by T-Mobile is not flawless. It hasn't done this for a while, but I have no idea why it did that. It just dropped to 0, and now it's sitting around 1700, so the bitrate's a lot lower, which is annoying. How many Wi-Fi providers are you going to go through? Basically, I'm going to go through as many as I can. I've basically tried every internet provider in my area. This is my last chance. If T-Mobile continues to freak out, then I'm just going to have to go back to Comcast. I don't have a choice. But past few weeks, it's been pretty stable. Speeds have been pretty good. But that was the first complete dropout we've had in weeks. So I apologize for that. But I guess I haven't live streamed late at night. Maybe it's more spotty at night. I don't know. Sorry about that. I think it's back now. Hopefully it stays back. I was almost ready to go to my phone hotspot, but it returned pretty quickly. So, yeesh. Yeah, there's no perfect solution. Comcast does have probably the most stable connection, but I actually have some friends that use Comcast and do a lot of live streaming, and the connection got spotty for them as well, and they had to stop live streaming. So that's quite annoying. Let's see. Sleep tags. I still think locking working port parts is still wrong, though. I think there's more reason to it than just replacement, but again, if you don't like it, I don't think that necessarily we should have governments dictating every single design decision a company makes. And if consumers aren't okay with it, then they just won't buy the product. I don't look at Apple as a monopoly, basically. They're definitely not a monopoly in the Mac versus PC world. The PCs far outnumber Mac right now. So it's like, okay, if they do something you don't like, then just don't support them. Don't buy the product. It's not like just because they do something you don't like, the government needs to get involved every single time. Are you planning on staying at the same address for a while or open in the moving future? I'd be open to it. I would like to get fiber, and we can't get it here. It's just going to depend kind of on how the channels perform, and also the real estate market's pretty crazy right now. The interest rates have gone up a lot, which means it's not a particularly great time to buy, unless the real estate market has a correction and the prices go way down. But we haven't really seen that happen yet. So too many variables. It's hard to predict. I'm not like fundamentally against moving in the future, but no timeline on that. Let's see. Late night stream. Yeah. Don't know how Windows 11 is a train wreck. I live near a big city, Atlanta, so I have AT&T fiber. It's amazing, especially coming from AT&T Uverse, which was terrible. Yeah, that's what I grew up with. Uverse was absolutely awful. Basically, the whole reason I moved out of my parents' place was because the internet wasn't good. Hey, oh my God. You guys are very generous tonight. Thank you for the super chat, Jacob. He says, I found this app called Full Pix for my 11 Pro Max, and it enables me to take photos that take up the entire 6.5-inch display. What do you think of the idea? Would you try it on your 13 Pro Max? I'm trying to understand what you mean. Take photos that take up the entire... Is it just zooming in? I don't get that. It's a free app? What do I... Like, what is it, just the camera preview? I know it's a sensor can't physically change. Let me check this out. Full Pix. The full screen camera. Well, it has decent reviews. I mean, they usually have ads or want you to pay for something else internally. And you can change the aspect ratio in the camera app. Like, you can set it to 16 by 9, 4 by 3, or square. So if you want it to fill up more of the screen, you can just see, like, with the ultra wide, it basically fills the whole... It essentially fills the whole frame. So I don't get the big deal. Halami, thank you for your support for 9 months. It's taking pictures at the native aspect ratio. See, I don't particularly care for that because the iPhone is the only device I use with that tall aspect ratio. I kind of think iPhones are too tall. I would rather the aspect ratio to be closer to 16 by 9. When I take a lot of pictures, they're going to get posted on social media somewhere, and if they were that wide, it would just not be very practical. And I usually don't take pictures in portrait mode anyway, so... Yeah, I was trying to stream for the Aussies, Ramal Media, so that's what I was hoping to reach a different different group of people. So, if you were forced to spend $1,000 on an Apple product, what would it / they be? $1,000? That's a good question. I mean, pretty much all of the Apple products that I'm interested in, I already have. There's not like a lot of things Apple has going for them that I'm like, oh man, I hope to get that soon. It's like, if they have something that I think I could use, I'm going to get it. Because I'm the Apple sheep, right? But I guess, is it a cheat answer to say the iPhone 14 Pro? Like, I don't plan on upgrading. I don't need to upgrade. I'm happy with my iPhone 13. But if you were like, here's $1,000, you have to buy something, like, no chance. I can't back out. I can't just say, no, I don't need anything. If I had to buy something, I would probably utilize, honestly, that's probably going to be over $1,000. So I would probably get an iPhone 13 mini just so I could use it, either give it to my wife if she wants it, or I would use it as a continuity camera with my Mac, because I've already, in the beta, used continuity camera quite a bit. And it's nice. The webcam is much, much better than what the MacBook has on it. And I love Center Stage, just being able to add that to any Mac. That's really useful. So, but the problem is whenever I'm using it, sometimes I occasionally need to grab my iPhone for something. Like, oh, I want to get another shot for this thing, but I'm already using it to live stream with. Or I want to text someone real quick. So that's usually when I use my watch. Or I could just text on the Mac, I guess. But... there's certain like creative apps and thumbnail, I make my video thumbnails on my phone, but if I'm using my phone as a camera, I could keep around the iPad just for that. But honestly, I think I would rather just have 2 iPhones rather than an iPhone and an iPad at this point. iPad mini was down by $110 over the weekend. Almost bought one. That's pretty good. The only thing I have against it is 60 hertz, but I guess the 13 mini has that too. I just feel like I already have an iPad mini with my iPhone. It's like, I want the iPad mini to have 120 hertz. This is as close as I can get. Big chonk phone with 120 hertz. That's That's about the best I can get. Would you buy an Apple car when it comes out? Probably not, just because I don't think it would be as good as a Tesla. And I don't think it would be cheap. If Apple made a car, it would probably be like AirPods Max or the original HomePod. It would be some kind of low volume, high price luxury vehicle that would cost well over $100,000. And I don't think they would instantly come out with something that's competitive with the affordable EV options in the market. So, and they wouldn't have the supercharging and they wouldn't have the autopilot stuff that I care about. They would have their own version of it, but it likely would be out of my price range. So, and I don't think they're going to do it. I think they're scared to enter the EV market, and they're just going to partner with people and put CarPlay on different vehicles and stuff. So, uh, how much did it cost to make your current Apple ecosystem? I'm now actually curious. Oof, that's probably a scary number. Oh my god. Well, I kind of have a scattered ecosystem because there's some things I upgrade and some things I kind of just leave around. Um, really, Apple car not as good as a Tesla? No, yeah, no. There's a lot of design decisions that Tesla makes that I'm a big fan of, and I don't think Apple would make those same decisions. I'd love to see Apple try though. I just don't think they would make something very cheap. They would probably be like Lucid, and they'd be like, "We're not trying to make the cheap EV. We're trying to make the best EV." So they would want it to have the highest range and the highest build quality and the fanciest displays, and they'd give it all, Apple silicon inside and so. So they'd give it all this cool tech, but it would probably be at least $60,000, probably way more. But at the bare minimum, they would probably be like, one day we will eventually want to make a $60,000 model because they want to be looked at as a luxury brand, and I just can't afford that. That's not in my price range. So Apple car requires proprietary gasoline. No, they would not make a gas car. I would not buy a gas car. I will never buy a gas car again. Um, right to repairs for people who repair stuff. It's hard for folks who want it to be repaired versus having to buy a new device. Yeah, it's just forcing the company to help you, even if it's not really in their interest. I mean, that's kind of what the free market's about. It's the companies protecting their own interests. And I understand government stepping in when a company gets too powerful. I just don't look at Apple in that regard. It's like, are you worried that Apple has a monopoly on the laptop and desktop market? Because it's quite the opposite. I think they account for like less than 20% of the personal computer industry. So it's like, if you don't like it, don't buy it. And if no company is making what you want, maybe it's because no one wants it. Not that many people make the product you're interested in. So I don't know. It's kind of like me asking for things that I think would be very useful and would be very helpful, but then adding at the end that I'm very upset. I ranted a lot last week about iPadOS. Like, I think it's annoying that the M1 iPads get all these stage manager and external monitor support features, and they didn't give it to the A12Z iPads, even though I think they definitely could handle it. No question in my mind after seeing how iPad RAM can do things. And Samsung Dex is a great example. Like, they introduced Samsung Dex on the Galaxy S9. That did not have virtual memory swap, and that had 4 gigabytes of RAM. And yet you could plug that thing into an external monitor and run tons of windowed apps off the phone. And that, I guarantee you, the silicon in the Galaxy S9 was way worse, way crappier, with way less RAM than what the iPads have. The iPads have vastly superior RAM, silicon, everything than those Galaxy S9s, and yet they could do windowed multitasking. And Apple was acting like, well, for Stage Manager to really work, we need the graphics and the shading to be at this animation. And I was like, okay, maybe they raised the bar unnaturally high, but the concept that they couldn't compromise just a little bit on, like, okay, if your app's not actively being used, it freezes instead of continues to run. You could have had a scaled down version of Stage Manager. However, I'm not the kind of guy that thinks the federal government needs to get involved. Like, let's ask the politicians to move in on this. Apple should be banned from software locking features. It's like, yeah, it's annoying. It ticks me off, and I rant about it. But I'm rarely the kind of guy that's like, let's get the government involved. That's just not the way I handle things. And it's like, okay, it's annoying that Apple doesn't want to sell you the parts you want, but should they be legally forced to? I don't know. That's That's where we're probably just gonna agree to disagree, no matter how passionate you are on the subject. Um, let's see. Maybe if Apple made a car that ran on broken iPhone charger. There you go. Stage Manager coming to any 2017 Mac kind of throws their explanation as to why my A12Z can't. Yeah, they're gonna say it's the RAM thing, but it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. I've seen windowed multitasking done. It's not a very RAM intensive thing. They're trying to make it sound more complex than it is. Oh, there's so many apps running at the same time. It's like, yeah, they're iPad apps. Okay, maybe it's like, well, if we try to run Procreate and Affinity Photo and LumaFusion and Photoshop and Lightroom all at the same time on the A12Z iPad Pro, it lags. So let's not do it. It's like, okay, but no one's doing that. It's an iPad. People are doing iMessage, Safari, music, calculator. I bet most people aren't even going to be running 8 apps in Stage Manager at the same time because you're going to run out of things to do. You're going to have like email, spreadsheets. Maybe you get like 6 apps running at once, but just because they're like, oh, well, if we try to max it out, it doesn't work on the A12Z. It's like, come on, dude. Thank you for the super chat, Connor. Once again, very generous, you guys. Jeez. I use a Windows laptop Asus for school. I like Macs, but hesitate to switch because Macs are expensive. The wireless mouse and keyboard I have use USB-A, and I plug in an HDMI to an external monitor. Well, fair enough. They are expensive. The wireless mouse and keyboard have USB-A. Yeah, well, luckily that any MacBook you would get would have a trackpad and keyboard. I guess not everyone wants a trackpad, but I guess adapters exist. But yeah, I'm not going to try to convince you should spend more money on it. If you already have a laptop and it gets the job done, that's to your advantage. I'm not the kind of guy that's trying to say everyone needs a Mac in their life. If you can live without a Mac, that's great because Macs are pricey, and we're in a recession, so you should be looking at cutting costs and where you can work with less. I just objectively would have a slower workflow and I would be less productive if I didn't use this laptop. I know that for a fact. I've used Windows machines. I've used other video editing apps that are not Final Cut. I could not produce as much content as I do. I could not work within the schedules I currently have. For work, I could say I maybe need is a stretch because, like, yeah, I could technically just keep using my iMac Pro, or I could buy a cheap Mac Mini and a cheap $100 monitor, and I could probably work off of a Mac Mini, but I can justify the extra expense, like my income and how this channel performs, thanks to your guys' incredible generosity with the super chats and the channel members, and just also, even if you don't donate directly, I hope you guys don't feel left out. I do appreciate you just for watching. I know many of you can't super chat or don't feel like it. That's fine. But just by watching the channel, that's a tremendous help. That makes a big difference. So thanks to you guys, I can justify getting a heavy, higher end Mac that can export fast and I can take with me on trips so that, even when we're traveling, I don't have to stop work, which allows us to travel more freely and be a bit more flexible with our job. I can justify this and say, like, yeah, the laptop will pay for itself, essentially, with my job. And it's a tax write-off, so that helps too. But if you're out there and you just need your laptop for some basic, documentation apps or PowerPoint or, web browsing, that kind of stuff, then yeah, you can use an older Mac, certified refurbished, or if you can get by with Asus and Windows has apps that you need, or your school provides it, yeah, go for it. If you can live with it, that's awesome. I cannot. I tried. I've tried Windows several times, and each time I pulled my hair out because of driver corruption problems and unreliability, and the battery life isn't as great, and the export times aren't as good. So it's just I can't get it to work for my workflow, but that's fine. Let's see. What we really need is a Mac with iPadOS. Michael, don't say that. I'm gonna lose it. But thank you for the super chat, Connor. The public beta isn't even worth installing on my iPad Air 4. There's like literally nothing new. Yeah, if you don't have the newest iPads with the M1 chip, even the iPad Mini, which is brand new, and there's no newer version, all you get with iPadOS 16 is like the weather app. That's it. I mean, yes, they bring over features from iOS 16, but not even all of them. You can unsend texts, and you can lift subjects out of photos, which I like, but again, you can do that on phones, and I think you can do it on Mac. So it's not like an iPad exclusive thing. It would be bizarre if they didn't add it. Is what I'm saying. Like just like the lock screen thing. They added the lock screen customization on iOS, didn't add it to the iPad. That feels weird. It's like intentionally leaving out stuff. Um, I too, Ghosted, would have wanted interactive widgets. Absolutely. I'm still annoyed that they don't have that. All I really wanted from the beginning when they announced widgets was a now playing widget. I just want a way to like change the music and pause it straight from the home screen instead of having to go to Control Center. But they even have that on Android. Apple Music has a now playing widget on Android, but not iOS. Even though iOS has widgets. Like what? I do not get it. Um, the price of the Mac is the only thing stopping me from switching from my Windows machine. I apologize. I know that's frustrating. I would highly recommend you looking up Certified Refurbished. Um, Amazon usually has some good deals. M1 MacBook Air is still a really solid machine. I would recommend that to people on a budget. You know, like what are the reasons to go with the M2 MacBook Air over the M1 MacBook Air? It's a newer design. The display's a little bigger, a little brighter. You get MagSafe. Get some new color options. You get a faster chip, but I mean, a lot of people don't care about that. There's probably a lot of people buying MacBook Airs that don't even need the performance of the M1. For sure, there's a ton of people that just like use it for web browsing and texting and you know, basic documentation for like school stuff. They are not in need of a faster silicon chip. They don't need that kind of stuff. The 1080p webcam is kind of nice, but I'm sure you can live without it. It's a webcam. If you're in Zoom meetings, are you really going to appreciate that higher quality anyway? The speakers on the M1 Air are still good. So yeah, if you're on a budget and you're looking for an all-in-one Mac, you know, you get the keyboard, you get the trackpad, you get the battery, the display, all in one package. You can find M1 MacBook Airs for around $800 if you're on a deal hunt, looking for sales and stuff. Windows is a nightmare. It's like staying in that off-named motel in the middle. I know not everyone feels that way, but yes, I completely agree. Using Windows is like staying in that off-named motel in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, that's how I feel every time I use it. But do you think I should buy the new M2 MacBook Air? If you can comfortably afford it and you think you'll utilize its features, yeah. There's not some blanket statement. Everyone on Earth should buy this laptop. It's like, I don't know what your use case is. I don't know what you're going to use it for. If you think you're going to utilize it and you'll get good functionality and practicality out of it, and you'll enjoy having it, then yeah. And you can afford it. Don't go into debt over it. I don't get the Apple Pay Later thing. Credit cards are one thing because you have rewards and perks that you can utilize and you can build up your credit history with credit cards. But Apple Pay Later is just straight up get into debt. Spend money on things you can't afford, which it's good for Apple, but it's not good for you. Don't utilize that feature. If you don't have the money for something and you can't buy it right now, don't buy it. If you're going to use a credit card, use it for the cash back or to build credit history, not because you can't afford something and you want it now. That's not how I recommend using credit cards. You know, some people out there are just completely anti-credit card in total. Like, just don't ever use credit cards, but I appreciate the rewards. I appreciate the cash back. Like, I got over $300 in cash back on this laptop, and I've never paid a penny for my Apple Card. I've never missed a payment. I've never paid interest. So, hundreds of dollars a year. Like, it tracks it in the Apple Pay cash section. Like, I get hundreds of dollars worth of cash back just by putting things I would normally buy anyway on my Apple Card, and I built up a credit history. So if I buy another house in the future and they are trying to calculate interest rates, they're going to base it on my credit history. And if I show a reliable track record of making payments on a credit card, then they will give me a good interest rate. So there's benefits to that. Apple Pay Later doesn't have any of those benefits. There's no cash back. There's no credit building. It's just pure trying to get you into debt, which is a bad idea. Let's see. Wife is all Mac now. iPhone 12 Pro Max, MacBook Pro with the bar of touch. The bar of touch. Why have I never heard someone describe it that way? That's great. I want to refer to it that moving forward every single time. The M2 MacBook still has the bar of touch. Sounds like a restaurant. If I ever open a bar, I'm gonna call it the bar of touch. Sounds weird. Uh, what's also weird is the iPad with the A10 and A9 can run iPadOS 16, but iPhone 7 SE 6S can't run iOS 16. Well, that's very simple. It's because iOS 16 is a much bigger update than iPadOS 16. iPadOS 16 doesn't change much. That's why. Let's see. Getting my Mac Studio next month. Very excited. Ooh, congratulations. I was kind of bummed out that I couldn't make good use of the Mac Studio because I liked the idea of it. I liked how many ports it had, and I liked the frontal I/O and everything. But um, I'm happy for people that get it. I think it's a cool Mac. Is the name of the stream that AirTags are a sleeper success because this is a late night stream? Yeah, I was kind of tying into this. I can't say it wasn't intentional. I was like, it's a nighttime. It's a sleeper success. This is a late night stream. So yeah, I'm happy that actually I'm a touch bar queen. Should Apple make an all-new 12-inch MacBook Pro with the whole new redesign, but give it the options for M2 and M2 Pro? So I read that report. I read that leak, which honestly kind of made me doubt it because I was like, wait, why would they brand it as Pro if it's going to be smaller and lighter and probably have a smaller battery and no thermal system, but they're just popping in a Pro chip? That I had a harder time believing. And then I think Quo came out later, or Ross Young came out later and said, like, yeah, we're not hearing anything about a 12-inch MacBook comeback. So that kind of made me doubt the return. It's not like it's impossible that they're going to bring it back, but the idea of giving it the Pro terminology definitely didn't sit right with me. It's like the purpose of that laptop is to be portable, is to like go all in on portability, just make the most compact, tiny laptop you can. It's not about Pro. It's not about perform. I think Pro should mean like more ports, faster speed, better battery life. Hey, Liam, thank you for supporting the channel. I'm a little late. Summary of the AirTag news. Basically, Ming Chi Kuo told us that it's selling better than people realize, like 35 million units this year. And it's become quickly the most popular like geotag tracker device in the world. And if this trend continues and more people keep buying it, then Apple will likely release a follow-up in the near-term future. I don't really know exactly what they're going to change about AirTags, but I would like a rechargeable option and more colors. That's all I can really think of. I don't know what else. Maybe a light, not a display, but like a light that could flash in an emergency when you're pinging it. Maybe that could help. I don't know. Do you guys have ideas for AirTags too? Like obvious things, a better battery life, that kind of stuff's obvious, but maybe one with a little hole in it already so that you can easily attach it to keychains and stuff. It's a good gift also. That's true. It's probably the cheapest Apple product you can walk into an Apple store and buy, and it's just like a perfect little accessory. Return to the bar of touch. Do you think an M2 MacBook Air, 16 gigs of RAM and 16-core GPU will be able to handle filmmaking, writing, plus HD, 4K, 24 FPS editing workflow? I think so, yeah. I was able to do, easily, I could do 4K at 60 ProRes video editing on the M1 MacBook Air. And what you're describing is definitely better than that. So Apple Silicon's good, dude. Like, yeah, that M1 chip I think could handle 4K at 24, frankly, is not that much. I know it sounds good, but it's not that big a deal. Yeah, absolutely. M2 could handle it. Rechargeable via Apple Watch puck. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's how I would do it too. But I don't know if Apple wants to make it easier to. Hey, oh my God. Keopsis is feeling awfully generous tonight. He just became a supporter. I will see you in the members only streams whenever I get to do that again. Would be the same technology as an AirPod case. Oh, so MagSafe. Yeah. Did you see the iPhone versus Android video from Mr. Who the Boss, or at least the backlash? I find the backlash both comical but also sad. I didn't watch the video just because I am busy and there's a bunch of tech channels. Honestly, I'll be frank. I mostly watch EV channels these days, and I read tech news. I do these tech live streams, I do tech podcasts, and I do tech videos, so I don't spend a lot of my free time watching tech videos just because it's like, you got to take a break. And right now, the EV space and a lot of channels I've discovered in the EV community are more interesting to me. So if I'm watching something, I'm usually watching those. So no, it's not that I like intentionally chose not to watch it, but I did catch the backlash and a lot of people saying how ridiculous it was. And to be fair, a lot of the backlash sounded partially deserved. I mean, I think that people were overreacting, that they were passing it off as fact, where I'm like, you can't treat someone saying iOS is better than Android as fact. It's clearly an opinion. It'd be like someone uploading a video saying, chocolate is better than vanilla. You know, even if I watch that video and they say why it's better and treat it like it's fact, you're still going to be like, well, no, that's their opinion, because there's no way you can just say it's objectively better. Um, that's a personal preference thing. I think it's very obvious that Android prioritizes things that certain demographics care about, and if you care about those things, then Android will be better for you. And iOS prioritizes a different set of things, and if you care about those things, then iOS will be better for you. So it's not something I looked at, and honestly, I saw the thumbnail when I was scrolling through Twitter, and I thought, oh, this is obvious. It's Android's going to win, of course, because there's like a million phones that they can pull as an example, whereas the iPhone there's only like 5 for you to compare. So if you want to be like, what allows for the best customization and who has the best hardware and who has the best battery, and Android would just, you could pick a different Android phone every time. But then once I saw the backlash and what everyone was responding to it, I was like, oh, they kind of narrowed down the arguments and didn't compare it to all of Android. And a lot of people were saying they were comparing it to phones that didn't have a fair chance. And they gave the iPhone wins where it shouldn't. And I was just like, I personally think that if Android won, iOS users wouldn't have cared that much. It because that's how I know how I felt about it before even clicking on the video. I just saw the thumbnail and went, MKBHD is a big Google guy. He's a big fan of Android, and Mr. Who's the Boss is into Android too. So if they're doing a video on which is better, it's probably going to be Android. But again, I don't watch a ton of tech videos, so I don't really need to watch it. I think I already know the answer. Turns out that wasn't the case, but even if it was, I wouldn't have cared, and I feel like majority of iOS users wouldn't have cared either. They just would have saw that and been like, whatever. They can think what they want. It's a tech video. It's a tech community, so they say what they want. But because they selected iOS as the winner, the Android community was very upset. And there's probably some areas where it wasn't a fair comparison, but yeah, I kind of get the backlash, but I still feel like even if the video was biased and skewed in Android's favor, there would have been less backlash. Apple gets more hate than any tech company. I feel very confident saying that. You know how many freaking like Smosh Apple parodies were made? If you just look up videos on Apple rants, people ranting about Apple, including me, I'm guilty of this too. But how many people rant on Apple? And I mean, just go to Unbox Therapy's channel. He's, the biggest tech channel, essentially. And sort it by most viewed and tell me what the top videos are about. The most popular tech videos on YouTube are basically just talking about why Apple sucks and why this new phone is bad or this phone is a joke. And you do not see the same type of views or attention with Samsung or Pixel. There's rant videos and there's hate videos on them, but they do not perform nearly as well. They do not get nearly as much clicks. Oh yeah, College Humor did a fun of parodies. There's no doubt in my mind there's no tech company that gets as much hate as Apple does. Easily. No one comes close. It was an iOS blowout. Maybe I should watch it. I don't know. Maybe I'll really like it. But Kyopsis says it's subjective, but plus we all know strawberry is superior. I had strawberry ice cream the other day. It was pretty good, but I still like vanilla more. Yeah, exactly. Hey, thank you for the super chat, Nathan. He says 12:48 a.m. Central Time. You madman. Oh, I know. And I got to get up early tomorrow. I'm just not going to sleep very much. What do you think about the 14.1-inch iPad, and would you buy it for the fun of it? I would probably check it out to review, but that's about it. I don't plan on keeping it. I don't know if I'll ever buy an iPad again at this point. Holy crap, what? Why are there so many channel members tonight? Thank you, Simply Sora, for your support. I'll see you in the member streams and enjoy the community posts. Oh my god, another super chat from Kyopsis. Oh man. You guys, you guys are too generous. You're too kind. Okay, Kiopsis23 says Apple tweets versus Samsung tweets. Apple tweets are full of insecure Android users who feel the need to tell you they would never use Apple, but Android tweets are never full of Apple users. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't say they're full. They're definitely there. I'm not saying there aren't toxic Apple sheep. Again, I'm not that black and white of a guy. There's definitely a toxic fan base on both sides. I'm just saying that the volume, or at least the voice of each, is quite larger. I think the Apple fan base is, the majority of them are not very active in the tech community, whereas in Android, a larger number of them are active in the tech community, and they're more inclined to defend their choices and complain about the competition being Apple. And yeah, I think that there's more urgency on the Android side to defend and attack. Just look at Samsung commercials. Samsung does all kinds of marketing campaigns complaining about Apple and how stupid Genius bars are and all that. Apple almost never does those kinds of attacks. They had the Mac versus PC thing, but those are harmless compared to what Samsung does. We should get a Pixel rant when that Pixel tablet comes out. There might be another Pixel rant in the near future, but I'll save you on that one. Of course, but it is very scarce. Trust me, I looked. I believe you. Oh my God, Ghosted! You got 3 new supporters today? My God, you guys are too kind. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They called me a madman. I don't know if that's the case. Apple has a lot of toxic fans as well, but Android has a ton of toxic fans by virtue of numbers alone. Yeah, I'm not saying no side is innocent. I'm sorry, I'm not saying any side is innocent. I just think that the volume of toxic fanboys is higher on Android than iOS. That's all. But what did someone say earlier? I read a message that I agreed with, but too many of you guys keep super chatting. Gosh. I'm kidding. I'm very grateful if you couldn't tell. Oh, where was it? It was about honesty. Oh yeah, Yurasawa said it here. If Android won, oh, he's so honest. If iPhone won, Apple is paying them. Yes. That's what it feels like the comment section works like. I've literally been accused of, Apple must pay this guy, or Tesla must pay this guy, which I was like, that would be awesome, but no. Unfortunately, no, they don't pay me. Google pays me, and I rant about them. Oh my God. For the record, guys, Kiopsis is saying that there's more toxic Android fans, and he's an Android user. Drew is like, I'm too popular. Stop. No, I'm not too popular, but I mean, no, you're right. I am too popular. There's so many better tech channels to watch out there. I don't know why you guys choose me, but I'm very grateful that you do, because this is a dream job, and there's very few people in my personal life. No, wait, yeah. Basically, there's no one in my personal life that I can talk about this stuff with. Like, I have no friends or family that are interested in AirTag sales or interested in Apple Silicon and the new MacBook design. There's like no one I can talk about this with. So the fact that there's a community of people online that are willing to hang out in these streams and chat with me about this stuff, that's what I love about this job. And, the AdSense and you guys supporting just allows me to pay all the bills and, try to find Wi-Fi that works. And I hope you guys know it's not, I don't take you for granted. I really do appreciate you. And that's why me and my wife focus on, budgeting and trying to be careful with our spending. We don't have debt. We paid off things as quickly as we can. And we try to be very responsible with our money because we don't take you guys for granted. And I enjoy this interaction so much. And I just love having people that are interested in the same stuff I am. So I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of you guys, to be frank. But as far as like my tech quality goes, like there's so many channels out there that prioritize better production value and better B-roll, and they script their videos. And I just feel like this random guy in my bedroom just ranting on random things, and for some reason you watch it, which I'm very grateful for. But I've been really enjoying the Discord for that reason, as you might have seen how active I'm. You were very active in there, but I'm glad you enjoy it. I watch because of your personality. Well, thank you, Ghosted. That means a lot. Thank you. I put an AirTag on a chicken nugget once. Did you lose it? I hope you found it back. I see too many other channels that only want clicks and don't seem to be interested in the person. Yeah, I want less clicks. I'm striving to get people to unsubscribe. I was hoping that the skits would scare people away, but It's just not doing it. Um, I mean, I know how many views my videos get, and I just compare that to how many subscribers I have, and I'm like, we have way too many subscribers. So I'm trying to specialize in anti-clickbait, making videos that sound boring, that sound uninteresting, so that people stop watching. But I don't know what else to do. Thank you, Simply Sora, for the super chat. He says, been a fan since I was like a sophomore in high school. Now I'm a working adult, which is crazy to say. Keep it up. Yeah, it's crazy that I was making these tech videos when I was in high school and freshman year in high school, and now I'm still doing it thanks to you guys. Uh, I just skipped this most of the skits, being honest. No, I don't blame you. I'd probably skip them if I were you too. But I started doing them, and I thought it was a unique challenge that made the videos more interesting for me. And once I did a few, and a lot of people responded positively to them, I ran a poll, and it was like over 70% wanted the skits. And I was like, well, if most people want the skits, then I'll keep doing it. I know not everybody does. I know there's like a 30% that doesn't like them, which is why I put the chapters in there. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Some people just want the news and they don't want me to try to be funny. And sometimes I'm not that funny. I don't blame you. So I was just getting tired of the comments saying, can we stop doing the skits? It's like, dude, I'm making content for lots of people, not just you. I'm not going to stop doing skits just because one guy says, I don't watch the skits. It's like, if you don't like it, skip it. I put the chapters in the video for that reason. And if you don't want to skip it, I guess there's lots of great other tech channels to watch. Max Tech does far better research and goes far more into the analytics. MKBHD has way better production value and incredible shots and cinematography. Mr. Who's the Boss puts incredible insight and fantastic perspectives on tech and goes into detail on so much stuff. There's so many great tech channels out there. If you want to cover Apple leaks and stuff, iUpdate does a good job. Like, I'm not the only guy, so don't treat me like the only, I'm like you're only. I do not have a monopoly. The skits are just your toxic outlet. I like that. I don't know if that was intended as an insult, but I like that statement anyway. Liam 2.0, thank you for the super chat. Wow, you guys keep donating. Your videos still look and sound great, and it feels like we can trust you to cover the features that actually matter to the end user. Maybe not every end user, but yeah, I can account for what matters to me. Thanks again, Liam. And that's what I am an expert on. That's what I know very, very well is my opinion. No one's a better expert on my opinion than me, so I feel I feel comfortable talking about that. Anti-clickbait and skits is reinforcing the loyalty of your viewers. How do we get more people to unsubscribe? Should I just start spamming videos of nothing? I'll just start uploading skits with no news. I thought maybe if I started doing YouTube shorts, people would leave, but I kept posting shorts, and then those shorts started doing well. So I was like, oh my god. I uploaded a little YouTube short on the Magic Mouse, and it performed okay. And I was like, yeah, whatever. And then the comments keep rolling in on it, and I guess it got picked up in some algorithm, and it started taking off. And I was like, oh my god. You are more professional than most channels. Refuse to say confirm. Always say your honest opinion. Your point of view is not of someone who has to consider receiving phones for free. I guess that counts as professional in a way, but thank you, Ricardo. Guys, I'm not trying to talk myself down so that you guys say nice things. I know that some of you are probably taking it that way, but no, I'm just trying to be transparent with how I view my content. I mean, there's a lot of great channels I watch on YouTube, and I wouldn't put myself up there on the list, but I appreciate the kind words. Positively reviewing Android phones won't take long. Dang it, Jeff says, didn't know how I felt about the skits when they first launched, but now I find myself constantly coming back for them. Love it. Well, thank you, Jeff. I'm glad you love them. That feels appreciated. Shorter videos seem to do better nowadays. Yeah, they just don't make as much, which, I kind of have to prioritize, but luckily not entirely. Say how much you hate Android and how much you love iOS. That will give your impressions down and your like to dislike down. Less people see, more people leave. I feel like every time I've ranted about Android, though, I just get a bunch of attention, but more people end up subscribing. Yeah, I don't know. I've done my fair share. Actually, the times in my channel's history that I've grown the most was when I was caught up in controversy, which I'm kind of picky with my audiences. I didn't really like that. I didn't like that formula. As I'm gonna respond to this big tech YouTuber, and I'm gonna get a lot of controversy, and I'm gonna garnish a lot of dislikes. But in the process, a lot of people discover my channel and they stick around. And I was like, I don't want to just be the drama channel. You know, there's some channels that are very successful with that. Like, oh, I'm gonna respond to this YouTuber. I'm gonna talk about this YouTuber and get a bunch of clicks and generate this back and forth and this argument between two audiences. I was like, this isn't fun. I'm not enjoying this. I wanna focus more on positivity and striving for tech products to be better. There's a lot of things Apple does that I'm disappointed by, but it comes from a hopeful perspective of this should get better, and I don't like just going after people in response videos. So that's probably what would happen. As soon as I start posting controversial takes, I get the response pieces, and then people ask me to respond to them. So whatever. I enjoy talking about the tech itself. We don't need to become a drama channel, but thank you again. Oh my God, too many super chaps, Keopsis. Your wife's gonna be mad at you. I know you've been asking me to collab with Snazzy for years. We talk a little bit behind the scenes here and there, but I don't know what we would collab on. I feel like we agree on pretty much everything. So thank you for the super chat, though. Non-filter views, while mostly give unboxing experience, you straight away show there's a problem. Who's your favorite tech YouTubers that you follow? Definitely Marquez. I've just been watching MQBHD since 2010, I think, or 2012. Like, I've been watching him since he was a very, very early channel, and I just feel like he's so good at simplifying things and explaining complex subjects, and he can just break down arguments into their core pieces, and he's the only tech channel I pretty much watch every single video. Other channels I tune into occasionally, but Marquez, I try to watch everything he uploads, regardless of if I'm interested. I'm like, I don't really care about the Sony Xperia, but it's Marquez, so I'm going to watch it. I haven't found another tech channel. Snazzy Labs is pretty good, too. There's a lot of great tech channels. I just don't have time. Let's see. Is the low battery pop-up still the same? Yeah, it is. Few provide opinions like you do. Well, I think a lot provide opinions. You guys are just being too generous, too kind. We need more criticism. Oh my God. You always complain about certain Apple decisions. Do you ever get mad when you see comments defending it? Do you understand their side? Sometimes I do, but it annoys me when I understand their argument, but their argument is still flawed. Like I've had that interaction a lot with iPads. It's like, I understand why you think iPad shouldn't do that because it's an iPad. And I'm like, yeah, but that argument doesn't work anymore because we've given it Apple silicon that's the same silicon in a Mac. We've given it mouse support. We've given it keyboard support. We've given it USB-C. We've given it a largest display. So all of those, it's an iPad, so it shouldn't have that arguments don't work with all of this extra stuff. If you're going to give it nothing but Mac features, let's give it M1, let's give it M2, let's give it USB-C, let's give it Thunderbolt, let's give it keyboard support, let's give it Stage Manager, let's give it, it's like, these are all just Mac things. Just commit, go all the way, just dual boot macOS. And people go, no, because it's an iPad. iPads are supposed to be fundamentally limited so that they're user-friendly. And it's like, I get what you're trying to say, but that argument doesn't work anymore. So, yeah, when people defend my complaints, I usually get into it, and I like those back and forth. That's why I enjoy Discord, is because we can try to get to some core conclusion where we understand each other's perspectives, and if you can convince me otherwise, then I'll understand the decision. But stop looking down before the intro finishes rolling. I noticed that. Yeah, I get annoyed every time I edit the video, and I keep forgetting every time I film. I don't know why. I just want to look down. But the intro, you can see me longer, so I need to say, let's begin, and then hold it there for a little bit longer. You're right. I need to do that. My next tech video, I won't do that. I can guarantee it. Anyway, I've been live for a while, and it's getting late. I know it's a late night stream, but I've got some more work to do. So, again, really, really appreciate all your guys' super chats tonight. Seriously. So much generosity. I feel so humbled. I feel so honored that out of all the tech channels, you guys choose this weird one with all the bizarre skits and stuff. But I really, really appreciate you guys. I don't take you for granted, and I don't know what my internet situation is going to be. over the next few weeks. But if it's possible for me to post content, I will. If it's possible for me to live stream, I will. So seriously, you guys are awesome. Really, really appreciate you. Good to see you again too, Jeff. And I Cave Dave super chatted as well. Been watching since the FPT beef days. You were a big inspiration to start my channel, so thank you. Well, I'm amazed that somehow I inspired you, but thank you for the super chat. And you think that the new CarPlay will be able to be used without plugging phone in? Yeah, you can already. Wireless CarPlay is already a thing. Don't worry about that. Of course, there will be wireless CarPlay. But I hope you guys all have an excellent rest of your evening, and stay tuned for more tech stuff. It'll get a video on something else tomorrow. Thank you all. Have a good day. Bye-bye.